Last week we were introduced to the 7 elements of art, and those are the building blocks or the ingredients that we use to create artwork. Those elements are line, shape, form, value, color, texture, and space. Line is a mark that is created by a moving writing tool or another pointed object across a surface or the path of a moving point. It is the most basic and fundamental element. It is often the starting point for most artwork. Line helps us sketch, define objects, add dimension or volume to our work, or it also assists us with shading and making things look more three-dimensional. Today we are going to be drawing some examples of the 5 different types of lines and highlighting what type of mood or emotions those lines actually convey. So we're going to start out by labeling our paper with the word line. You already have the definition in your notes, and then you're going to write 5 types of line. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the 5 types of line are horizontal. And horizontal lines are lines that go from side to side or right to left, left to right. And horizontal lines in an artwork can create a sense or feeling of calmness, relaxation, or quietness. The next type of line is vertical. And vertical lines are lines that run from top to bottom. And I'm just putting some little directional arrows right here. And vertical lines create a sense of balance, support, or stability, and strength. Strength or power, you could substitute those words. The next type of line that we have are curved lines. And I like to think about curved lines as being lines that change directions slowly. And you can choose to illustrate that however you want, as long as you have curved lines. In my own artwork, they're one of my favorites. Okay, so they create a sense of gracefulness, elegance, and they can also create a sense of relaxation as well. Our next type of line is zigzag. And Zigzag lines are lines that change direction at sharp angles. They create a sense of excitement, confusion, anxiety, or they appear energetic. And the last type of lines are diagonal lines. And these are lines that are angled or slanted. They can create a sense of instability or being off balance. Speed or motion. I guess we could also put movement in there. But they create the feeling of instability, or like something is falling, or if something is moving really fast. And I'm going to show some examples of that in a second. And I also feel like they create a sense of energy as well, similar to zigzag lines. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see all of the definitions, well, the examples at once. So just remember that horizontal lines move from side to side, vertical lines up and down, curved lines change direction slowly, zigzag lines change directions at sharp angles, and diagonal lines are lines that are slanted. Next, we're going to move into line quality. And line quality is the special characteristics of a line. If I were to hold my pencil on its side, I can create a line that is thick. If I hold it up, the line gets skinny. So this thickness, thinness, those are all examples of line quality. A line can be continuous like this, or a line can be broken. All of these refer to line quality. So that's just the special characteristics of a line. Is it a blurry line? Is it a sharp line? Those are all characteristics of lines. So line quality is simply the special characteristics of a line. And I'm just going to show you some examples. Miss Burns is old school, so I still like books. Okay. So I'm going to show you some examples of artwork and architecture with lines in it. So here we see an illustration of this building here. And if you look at the columns appear very strong. They are vertical. Okay. This building looks like it has stability, like it has strength. And that's all because those lines are vertical. But we also see curved lines at the top, and that creates a sense of elegance. In this example of this illustration from a comic book, we see lots of diagonal lines here, and some that even look like they're making a zigzag. formation. And it looks like this is an energetic scene because you have those types of lines in this particular artwork. Also in this painting right here, it's giving me anxiety, okay? It has a lot of zigzag lines. This is not something I would really want in my house because it would make me feel kind of uneasy. But you can just kind of see how lines can create a mood. The examples at the bottom, you see repetition here. That creates a sense of movement, and these lines are slanted. They are diagonal lines, but we're getting a sense of movement or instability. Sort of like these things could actually be moving. One thing that we haven't talked about is something called implied line. So in art, you have actual lines. Those are lines that you can actually see, but you also have implied lines. So examples of actual lines. In this illustration, we actually see these lines. We can actually see these lines. I'm going to zoom in right here. The spaces that are in between this illustration, those are implied lines. They were not actually drawn. When we visually connect these dots right here, those are implied lines. We are psychologically creating a line. We are connecting those. The number line, our eyes are moving in a curved fashion. That is a implied line. In this painting by Francisco Goya, we also have some directional lines, and they deal with, like, there's a diagonal line here. So visually, that makes us look downward. Then we have this visually happening right here, and our eyes move upward. We have some implied lines at the soldier's feet that make us look downwards. And ultimately, this bright shirt draws our attention to the center of the painting and this man who is the focal point, okay? So that is basically our review of line. And we're going to talk next about value and how we can use value to make shapes turn into three-dimensional forms, okay?